like to spend time out here, you'll notice there is no windows in this. Nobody knows I'm here. So, playing around with wood has been one of my hobbies for quite a while. Charlie was a carpenter. So, there was times that after I retired, I helped Charlie a number of times on different jobs he had. I've learned most of what I do by picking it all up and asking questions and making mistakes and having to do it over. I was born and raised in Charleston in an apartment building at a place called Five Points. My mom was still single then, and a little bit later she married my stepdad, and we lived at 1115 Madison Street. During the war, nobody had anything anyway, you know. We're just lucky to have food on the table, you know. And we didn't have a lot, you know. I didn't have sense enough to know that I was poor, you know. But I had a lot of friends that was in the same boat that we were in. The first time I ever really run across my brother, before I knew him as my brother, he played softball for the Ashmore grade school. And our team went to Ashmore to play for him. And Charlie was the only one who did not have a glove. And he always caught the ball like that. And so they've called him Bucket, because he had big hands and he always looked like he had a bucket. That's how he caught the ball in grade school. But he was raised by my grandparents. I was raised by my mother and stepfather.
Well, they took me when I was 10 months old, and they raised me. Old Grandpa with a nasty speaker. I mean, he didn't let back on any language, but he was still a good old boy. And Grandma, she was a sweetheart. I mean, anything I wanted, she'd do.
Just like everything else, there comes a time your life changes. But we've been very close ever since. But I remember went over to Grandma and Grandpa's one time, and everybody was there. And Grandma fixed a real good meal. Well, all us kids were ordered to go outside and play. All the grown-ups ate. And after they were ate, Grandma got everything cleaned up, and then she fixed it for us. And we'd all go in there and sit around this great big old table. And there was always plenty for us to eat.
That's right.
She sure could make pies.
Oh, yeah.
She could make good pie. So
I went over there one night and stayed all night. First time I had ever left home. I mean, I had the worst night in my life. I'm not kidding. I wasn't because of Al. I had never stayed away from home. Got up next morning, and I wasn't used to this. Her mom gave him money. You go down to Wickham's, get some donuts. Come back a whole bunch of donuts. Oh, that was great. Now, when's breakfast? Because I was used to biscuit gravy, things like that. Didn't get that. Holy cow, but noon I was starved to death. Wasn't enough donuts for me. Yeah.
We used to, on Saturday night, everybody went downtown Charleston. We picked up their weekly groceries and what have you. And Grandma and Grandpa and Charlie would be down there, and Mom and us kids would be down there, and everybody sat around the square and just talk. And that's about the first
Well, I
time.
didn't.
You didn't. You was at the movie.
I went to the movies.
He went to the movies. Charlie always had a bunch of girls around, you know.
I did.
And they was fighting over who's going to sit with him. And but we always had he was the lover, I was the fighter. When I was in junior high, we had Charlie had a crew, We went and detasseled corn, walked beans, baled hay, went skinny dipping in the creek after all the day's work. But he had a car, he was 16, and he took the whole crew to each job. And so we had a good time. I remember the time that our dad passed away in Antigo, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Charlie and Rose, Gary and Beverly and I went up there. It was a riot going up there. You know, if it wasn't one, it was the other. So, but that was a trip to remember. So.
Yeah, but you know, Gary got mad because, you know, your dad and I had so much money left to us. And Gary didn't get nothing. You know, we sit down on the edge of the bed, decide to give half of that.
Yep, we divided it to 4 ways.
Yep.
Yep. So, when Dad passed away, he said that he left what he had to Charlie and I. And he said he did that because he never helped us when we was growing up, and he helped the other 2. But Charlie and I felt it was not fair.
We said in the motel, I think that ain't right.
Yeah, it's not right. So we'll do what we want to do, and not what Dad had asked.
Yeah.
So, but family's been very important to us. So, but we got my wife and I got 3 kids: Robin, Rachel, and Damon. And we got another daughter we have in Iowa. We got 9 grandkids, 2 great-grandchildren, and 1 more on the way. So we got a pretty good-sized family. Well, Charlie and I've helped Charlie a couple of times. We built a couple of garages, and so we've always been busy together.
Yeah.
So, but it's a joy to have Charlie as my brother. I appreciate him. So I love him very much.